Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified. So,
So
my
we both
love.
finished The Handmaid's Tale this week. We
Hmm.
have an icebreaker. We don't have an icebreaker. That's the icebreaker.
I don't have an icebreaker. I
I
guess
didn't
I
think of one
could.
either.
Hmm. What about like reading corner? Like, what are you reading?
Well, I'm still reading Blood Echo. I didn't
Good for
finish
you.
a single book last week.
So,
I got
you had other
60%.
things going on.
I know, I did. So I'm still like literally reading the same thing I was reading a week ago, but I love it. I did get to like 75% today. So good. There's so many things going on. I love how many things are going on.
Is Blood Echo, what's the premise of that one? I
That
always get
one,
books two and three confused.
yeah, I could imagine. This one like starts off with her going after a really bad guy who likes to turn human skin into leather. That's the
Oh.
first guy in that one. But then like that's over in the first like 15%.
So book three, I think, is gonna be your favorite.
I'm
Because
so
I don't
excited.
want to spoil anything. And it's
Yeah.
not even, I just remember it being very cinematic in the beginning of the third one, because of the
Nice.
case that it is. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh my God, this is something that we've discussed on here that I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, and nothing against it. A lot of thrillers are trying to be anti-stereotypes when it comes to what you think a serial killer is or could be.
Right.
And sometimes like you want that almost like lifetime movie experience of being like, can it just for once be
Yes.
the creepy janitor? Like
Right.
I want to know it's the creepy janitor. So yeah, there's
Yes.
some stuff coming up there. I'm trying to be more organized. I
Hmm.
requested a lot in the past month on NetGalley, but you know how
Oh,
sometimes a book might come out in January or February, like publication date, but then on NetGalley they'll archive it like a month or two earlier.
yeah. Hmm.
So I went and I looked and I was like, listen, like whatever I got approved for, I need to pay attention to the archive date. I
Yep.
was approved for um a
Take notes.
thriller called All the Dark Places by Terry Parlato.
Hmm.
And it is about a couple who lives in Boston in it's very snowy in January and they're celebrating his birthday. And everybody, like their friends come over, they all celebrate, have a great time, and then the next morning he's found murdered.
Of course.
But like, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like everybody who was at the party had already left. Like, who
Ooh.
killed him? It's very atmospheric and creepy, and I love the cover. I have it right here. I purposely brought it with me because I got a proof for it on NetGalley, and I
Uh-huh.
was going to start it this week. Forgot to charge my Kindle, was super bummed because I had to wait for my Kindle to charge. Got the mail, and here it was. So I was like, this is a sign that I need to start All the Dark Places. I'm obsessed with this
Clearly.
cover. It is
Yeah.
so amazing.
I love
Um,
that.
I read 25 pages last night. Last night I did not feel well. I thought for a
Oh,
second I had like a stomach bug,
yeah.
but then I realized that you cannot survive on like one mini scone and like 6 ounces of water in a day, apparently. So it was basically my own doing. But yeah, I read about 50 pages after I got done work today.
Hmm.
Went and got my Subway, read some of
Yes.
this. Something insane and creepy, creepy, creepy just happened in it. And I was
Ooh,
like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I'm
that
loving
sounds
it. It's like multiple POV, the detective, the wife of the murdered doctor,
fun.
um, full cast, but like introducing me to like 15 characters in 20 pages, but I'm able to keep track of
Whoa.
all of them. Like I'm
Wow.
everybody is standing out and yeah, it's just like a really fun police procedural psychological thriller.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually very, I don't know if this is, I don't think this is her first book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was raised in upstate New York, so I'm very curious to know where she's from.
Whoa, that's
Um,
cool.
but I I'm not sure if it's her first book or not, but I'm really enjoying the multiple POV because I think she's doing a really good job of writing a woman whose husband was just murdered. Like, she's
Yeah.
not immediately like, I need to go find out who did this, and like not having no emotion whatsoever.
Yeah, your
So
average person's probably not gonna do that.
no, no, your average, like, and I think she's like I think the woman works at like a bookstore, so it's not like she's gonna go from like bookstore to like vigilante. Um,
No, no.
but if she does, I'll still read it. However, it's
At
very good,
first, she wouldn't.
very normal response
Yeah.
to going from like my husband was murdered when I was sleeping, and now my house is a crime scene, and then returning to the house after like the police. It's just very good. It's very,
Right.
very well written. It's under 300 pages, which
Oh,
just
nice.
I think that I'm really enjoying it so far. So hopefully I continue to enjoy it.
That is so fun.
But
And
yeah,
you read a Coho book in one day this weekend. Is that what I saw?
I read Too Late by Coho. Sunday, I won't say which ones they were, but I tried to start 3 books on Sunday. None of them were hitting. Like
Oh my
nothing was
gosh.
happening. And I was like, the last time I experienced this was in, I believe, September. I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and like it completely
Mm-hmm.
got me out of that reading slump. So I
Yep.
just sucked it up, cut a couple of books off my list, and was like, I'll revisit these if I'm in the mood for them. I
Yeah.
picked up a book called Too Late by Colleen
Mm-hmm.
Hoover, and something about it like drew me to that because it's not always the one that people most recommend by her.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that one. That's kind of what I noticed about it.
Yeah, and there's like a foreword from her in the beginning of the book that's like, this is the darkest book I've ever written.
Oh.
It was something she never planned on publishing. She just kind of had this story in her head and like posted a couple of chapters for free on her website, I guess, like back in the day.
Yeah.
And people were like, I want to read this book. I want to read this book. And she finished it. Like, I think it was kind of an e-copy only, and then eventually
Hmm.
she turned it into an actual physical book because people loved it so much that they wanted to have a physical copy of it.
Wow.
But it was the darkest book.
Yeah. Even
It
for
was,
you?
even for me,
Wow.
a lot of trauma. I
Lot of-
usually forget to do this because I suck sometimes. Like, a lot of trigger warnings don't affect me the way they do other
I
people,
know. Me
unless
too.
it's like animal violence.
Yep.
I don't like to read about like violence against children. I mean, I will read books that have
Yeah.
violence against children, but I can see why that's another one that I'll usually warn people about. But with this one, I was
Hmm.
like, I remembered to put in my review on Instagram, like, there are trigger warnings. You can slide into my
Yeah.
DMs or look them up yourself. But yeah,
Right.
it was very dark, but something about the way she writes a story, I just could not put it down. And I read it in
That's so
one
cool.
day. So thank God for Coho for always being there
Yes.
for me on a
Saving
Sunday
your
when I
reading
don't
slumps.
know what to read.
Yeah. Yeah, you and like tons of other people too, I bet.
Yeah, because I also read on Saturday I devoured The Personal Assistant by Kimberly Bell.
I don't have that one yet. I want to it's getting such good reviews.
I loved it. I loved it.
Oh, that's so fun. I
And I
love
need you
her.
to read it because I did not skim at all. I read
Uh-huh.
word for word because I
Every
loved it so
word.
much. But there
Yeah.
was like one thing that I just was like, I think it was left to your imagination or I had missed something.
Mm.
So like I'm dying to talk to you about it. So
That would be fun.
we
I
have to
love
get,
that.
because I think it's what, November 29th?
Is that what
I
it
think,
is? Is it that soon?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it's November.
nice.
It's one of the books that's holding my laptop up right now.
I, for
I
some
gotta,
reason, thought it was like January. So that's exciting.
no, I think it's November 29th because
Nice.
that's why I
Okay.
read it this month.
Yep, you're right.
Hmm.
You're right. Cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. It was a really good weekend for reading two
Yeah.
books. Um, I perfected what I consider like my skincare routine that works for my type of skin, which just feels
Nice.
amazing to have the
I
products in
get
my
that.
hand that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if anybody's looking for a really good cleanser, the Tatcha, I think it's called the Gentle Rice Cleanser, but it's like the tube, it's the purple one.
Mm-hmm.
I tried using the green one and it's more of an exfoliant and it was so rough on my skin. I broke out.
Oh,
But the
oh, that's not good.
the
You break out
gentle, yeah,
from
the
exfoliation.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's because I shave.
Oh
So my
yeah,
skin's
that
already
does
like
make
a little,
sense.
yeah, my skin's already like a little like sensitive. And then if I put an
Yes.
exfoliant on it,
Yes.
it's like, what are you doing to me?
Yep.
Taking me
Is it
through the
called
ringer.
the Deep Cleanse? That's in a green tube.
That's the one that did not work for me.
Oh, okay. That one has the gentle exfoliating cleanser. Okay, you're right. So we're
Yep.
rice wash, the soft
Rice
cream
wash.
cleanser. Okay,
Amazing.
there we go. That I mean, that
Amazing.
sounds nice.
Amazing. It's a little pricey. It's like 30 something a tube, but I feel like that's
Yeah.
not too bad for the Tatcha brand or skincare in
Mm-mm.
general.
Yeah.
And then for because the winter is officially here and it's like 30
It has
degrees,
it is here. Yeah.
my skin is getting dry. So I
Yep.
use this really thick moisturizer by The Ordinary.
Mm,
And it's like $10, but it's
that's
fantastic.
amazing. I've
So,
been wanting to try, you know how Glossier, do you get those ads for their balm? Like
oh
everyone
yeah.
loves their balm and I've never tried it, but they have like such
Mhm.
yummy scents. So I'm almost convinced because I'm getting hangnails because my skin's getting dry. So I
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% believe in treating yourself when it comes to skincare, but also
Yeah.
in the winter because for me, like in the summer, I can put on whatever moisturizer as long as it's not thick, and that's fine because I
Yeah.
normally have like pretty greasy skin. But
Yeah.
yeah, this moisturizer and this skincare duo, just killing it.
That's the best. I love finding that stuff.
And I got Pizza Hut.
That sounds so good right now. I must be a little bit hungry.
I got, you know what the thing is? I was like a big fan of like pan pizza until the last time I had it, and my body was like, you are 35 now. You cannot eat pan pizza because it's way too greasy for you. And I like
Oh
woke
my
up at like
gosh.
3 o'clock in the morning and had really bad heartburn and had to take like Tums.
Oh, that's the
So
worst.
I tried their hand toss and I was a man obsessed.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very good. Very impressed. Pizza Hut.
Oh my gosh. I love pizza so much. I love their
Incredible.
stuffed crust pizza. That is our
I
fave.
have not had that in like 15 years.
Yeah, I've had it a lot in the last 15 years.
So good. So
Yeah,
good.
it's amazing. There was one, I was in an apartment right after college, and there was one like a couple miles away. We ate a lot of it. Good
I'm
days.
a big fan. I actually really love Domino's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Domino's person,
Yeah.
but there is like not one. I mean, I think like the closest one's like 45 minutes to an hour away from me,
Yeah, that's not close.
unless I go to Canada. Then it's only 15, 20 minutes away from me. So
Well, oh,
that's me.
Canada.
Oh, Canada, here I come. So,
Speaking
speaking
of
of Canada,
Canada, oh, that's hilarious.
you are a genius. So,
We both
yeah,
are.
why don't you do the honor of
Yeah.
telling everybody what we're going to be discussing on today's episode because I was completely obsessed with this idea. And when you said it, I was like in full preparation mode in regard
Yep.
to just having all of my ducks in a row.
Yes. All of your female leads in a row
Oh my God.
because
Yeah. It's like my
we are going to
literary
talk.
version of the Spice Girls.
It is. Wait, did you do books? Because that'll be interesting because I did TV shows.
I did books.
Nice. So we'll have some
This will
variety.
be actually really cool then. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually works really well.
Yeah.
Well, we still haven't told the people if they haven't guessed already,
Okay.
but we are going to talk a little bit about The Handmaid's Tale because both of us finished
Mhm.
that this week. And then our I don't know why I can't say that word, our favorite hopefully just five, but who knows how many we'll end up saying our
I already
top five
have.
favorite female leads or strong female leads. So we'll see if we can keep it to five each.
So, yeah, I think in my mind, when I heard characters, I just immediately thought books.
Yeah,
I had in my mentality the women who could either survive or take down Gilead.
I like that. I love
That
that.
is exactly like what I was just like, I need my band of baddies to just come
That is
through and
pretty
be
much who I
like,
picked if I'm now that I'm looking at it. So I would
take
agree.
down. Um, I actually was wondering too, because there's two, possibly three. Okay, so I had
Mm-hmm.
six because I like remembered one little nugget and I was like, no way can I leave her out of my
Yeah.
like Gilead Spice Girl crew here. Um, but yeah, I'm very curious to hear your TV characters because
Yeah.
there's one in particular that I would choose, but I think you're too young.
You think I'm too young? I'm only 5 years younger.
I think you're too young.
Okay. I believe you then.
I think you're too young, but you kick it off. You kick it
Okay.
off, girl.
Well, I guess what I will say is one, I always love Handmaid's Tale. Always.
Same.
Every single season, I'm like, wow,
Hmm.
this is great TV. And this season, I felt like 100% convinced that it's one of those few perfect TV shows out there. So I have some pretty strong feelings about it. It always wrecks me like every single season, and I'm still like, more, please. And it did it again. So you can definitely go into that prepared for that. I also, what I really loved about this season is I felt like there was a really big focus on that quote that's like, when trying to defeat monsters, make sure you don't become one yourself. And it felt like that was like the through line of that whole season. And I felt like they kept like bits of that in every single episode. And I really loved it.
I can't say anything. I can't top that.
You're like,
Done.
I
Have a
liked
good
it.
night. So I agree with everything you said. I was one of the people who began to feel a little burnt out from the show toward the end of season three and throughout a few episodes of season four,
Mm-hmm.
where I felt like at the end of season four, when this season five came out, I was like, I'm going to check it out. If I fall off, I fall off. And if I finish
Mm-hmm.
it, I finish it.
Yep.
And I had talked to a couple of other people who felt very similar. And
Mm-hmm.
we're just like, oh, like, I don't know if I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I was one of those people that was like, I kind of felt like at certain points I got it. I understood what was going on. I was
Mm-hmm.
following it and I knew why it was happening, but there were a few times where June had completely infuriated me.
Oh, you
And
said that.
there were a few times in the show where I was like, are they just having her do things that I can't picture her doing just to have the show be 10 episodes long instead of five or six?
Right, right, right.
Um, but this one I completely just captivated.
Yeah.
I call it, this is like my like guaranteed reads like stamp of approval is like
Yes.
this season was the show that I watched without picking up my phone.
Yes, I agree. Like I was like, I can't, I'm not looking at anything
Sometimes
except
you know what it is. Sometimes you're
you have to
watching a show and
Google.
you text your friends back or you're scrolling through
Yep.
Instagram when something kind of like slows down in the pacing. There was none
Yes.
of that this season. And you know what the funny
No.
thing is? I can tell that you also had that stamp of approval because the past week, for no reason other than us catching up on Handmaid's Tale, like
Yeah.
we were talking every day, but not as often throughout the day because
No.
we were like finishing up Handmaid's Tale.
Yes. Oh, it was
So
so good. Yeah, it completely captures your attention.
yeah,
And
so good.
you won't know what's happening if you stop paying attention. That's like another part of it.
There was nothing, I feel like it was very action packed. There was nothing that
Yes.
I was like, I can take a break to go get a snack or go fill my water
Mm-mm.
bottle. Like it's like I have to pause things to do whatever I'm thinking of doing.
Yes. Yeah. I literally saved it for when Tyler was out of town so that I could watch it as uninterrupted as possible.
Hmm.
And it
Yeah,
worked.
so good. So good. It's my favorite
Yeah.
season of the show so far.
Yeah. I think it's my favorite. I season two is I remember season two being really powerful as well. The ending at least. But this one was really fantastic.
There's one character who was unlikable.
Well,
That
I think there were multiple.
there's one character. Okay, I guess I should say there's one character who's unlikable that I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah.
That the actress that plays her
Mm-hmm.
did such an incredible job that there was no redeeming qualities about her other than the fact that the actress did such a good job that I wanted to find something likable about her just because the actress did fantastic. And I'm
Talking about
talking
Aunt
about Aunt
Lydia.
Lydia. Yep, 100%.
Yes. Yep.
100%. There is
Her
a scene,
performance is
the
stunning.
finale. There's a scene in
Yes.
the finale where I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for you, and I know that I should not.
Yep.
Incredible. If I ever see that actress in public, I'm just probably going to get teary eyed and hug
I
her
know.
and just be like, I love you.
You
Like,
did it.
you are the reason that, you know, how well somebody acts is just as important as how well somebody writes a character.
So important. Because, yeah, you're not on her side at any
No,
point. You never
no.
feel like you're on her side.
And
But
that's not even
one
a
of the other
spoiler. Like,
hallmarks of the show
yeah.
is it makes you feel everyone's feelings, whether you're on their side or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Like, even when I finished watching it, I was telling Tyler, I was like, every time I watch that show, I'm like, you can do so much with all of your characters. Every single character can be like real and even at odds with the other characters, but if they feel real, like you're willing to watch the scene.
The acting in that show, even if it's somebody that you don't like, the character is awful. Somebody on that show with their acting capabilities can do something small enough, like blink at the right time, and you just want to burst into tears.
Yeah, it's totally true. Or like move their eyebrow and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fall apart.
yeah. Or just completely kill like one line of dialogue. It's
Yes.
incredible.
Yes, so Anne Dowd is the actress who
Yes.
plays Aunt Lydia, and I wanted to look up her name because I remember she was nominated for an Emmy as a supporting actress in the first season. Didn't think there's any way she would win against the competition, and so she didn't go. And then she won it. And then like was like crying online, was like, I didn't even think that like I didn't think there was any way that like I should fly over for this. And she won it back then. She like really brings that character to life. It's very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always am like very, I pay more attention to supporting actors and
Yeah.
actresses because those are always the ones that like kind of surprise me or I feel like kind of get glanced over. Like, let's
Mm-hmm.
be honest, the past 2, 3 years, like I knew Zendaya was going to win Best Lead at the Emmys
Right. Yeah.
because nobody has that talent,
Nobody's touching that.
especially at
Yeah.
like 22, 23 years old.
I know.
So I knew that. But yeah, Anne Dowd deserves another nomination this year.
She does. She really does. It's so impressive. The guy who plays let's see. Bradley Whitford, who plays Joseph Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
he plays him so well too.
Yvonne
Like his like
Strahovski,
yeah, oh my yeah. Now we can
Serena.
just list everyone.
Yeah.
But it's everyone. That is part of what pulls it together, or a
Mm-hmm.
big part of it.
Is that girl? There's a young girl, the blonde. Is it
Mhm.
Kiernan Shipka? Is she in that?
Are you talking about the one who's kind of friends with Janine this season?
Yeah,
Let me look. Esther. Her name's McKenna Grace.
McKenna Grace. Okay, so McKenna Grace and Kiernan Shipka look exactly alike.
I
Um,
believe it because she always
but
reminds me of someone.
McKenna Grace is powerful
Yes, she
in this show.
is.
She is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, she kills it.
So that would
Oh
be
my
our
gosh, they
theme,
are the same person though. They really are.
right? Kieran and Shipka, I think, is Sabrina. She's like the new
Yes,
Sabrina
yes.
from whoever did the Riverdale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah. I think it's the same creators of Riverdale, though. I think it's
Oh,
like
the
the
same
same
creators.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oops. I'm just kicking stuff now. I'm
You're
all
like, I said what
shook.
I said. So, yeah, so that's our theme. Just
Yeah.
badass women who
Badass
could
women.
take down and destroy Gilead.
Or at least could be a part of like Mayday or any of the organizations taking them down.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Such a good decision. I was so proud of
Yeah.
my little Kate Great.
I mean, you added the second part. It was a team effort.
I did not add
I did.
anything. No, I did not. No, I
Yeah.
didn't. You came up with the idea, and I was like, oh my God, I got to get my list started. This is
I know.
all you. This is all
I,
you. And this
I'll
isn't
take
just
the
me because
credit.
I was actually listening to the episode that we recorded when I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this
Yes.
was such a good idea. And you're like, okay, well, it was your
I
idea.
was
And I
like, that was
literally
yours.
am reading the DM that you sent me with this idea. So, but
Yeah.
no, this was all you. I
I'll
just
take it. I'll take credit.
I just made my list and went with it.
Yeah.
So, who's your first lady?
So this one is my, I would venture to say, favorite female protagonist of all TV. But I don't think you've watched it. And it is Dolores from Westworld. One of the coolest characters ever in so many ways. Like some of it is because like the show is so into like what is consciousness and like what makes us real. So like some of it is the writing is always good. But she is the biggest and baddest bitch in all of TV. And I am obsessed with her. And I am literally in mourning over the fact that they were supposed to give us a fifth season and canceled it. So
Such bullshit.
things are rough, but I really love Dolores still.
That show was super hyped and also
Yeah.
had like a insane cast and
Huge.
everything. And I was really surprised to hear that it was canceled after
I
four
don't
seasons.
understand how it happened, honestly. Like it is like everyone was tweeting this season. Like I don't feel like it like dropped off. I have no clue where that came from.
You know what the thing is too that really sucks is HBO's like done this before.
Yeah.
When it's like a one season show, I kind of
Right.
get it, right? But
Yeah.
when you create a fan base because you gave
Yeah.
viewers four seasons, you deserve something. So
I
I used to
know.
watch the show called Looking,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about like a group of gay men in San Francisco who were like friends. It was kind of like a more like updated like gay man Sex in the City show, I
Yes.
guess. And
Yeah.
after season two, it got canceled, and
Mm-hmm.
HBO got a lot of heat for it. So they like
Mm-hmm.
made a Looking movie to wrap up everyone's
Mm.
storyline.
Okay.
So maybe,
Maybe they'll do
just
that
maybe,
for us. What
they
I will
should.
say is it's not like it ended on what you would call like a complete cliffhanger.
Okay.
So there's at least that can kind of make us feel a little bit better. Like the ending was kind of just like it was like it's one of those shows where definitely, I mean, that happens on a lot of shows, but where like each season there very much is like just one thing, like one big boss thing that's happening, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
a video game. And so it's like she did defeat the problem of that season, but like also you could still wrap up some other stuff. So thankfully it wasn't like the big, like it wasn't like we thought we didn't know if someone was alive or something,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still so sad. So terrible. But she's awesome. She reminds me of she would be really great with June.
Is that Evan Rachel Wood?
Yes, that's Evan Rachel Wood. I also
Okay.
love her.
She's really good. She's really
She's
good.
amazing.
Um,
She's great on podcasts too.
I just, man, that sucks. That was one of those shows that I was
Really
like,
sad.
maybe like one day I'll get into that.
What I will say is you really could. So like if you really are ever wanting a show, you
Yeah.
could still, if you knew the end was the end in season 4, you'd be like, okay, like that's cool. So you still could if you're ever just like have so much time on your hands.
Uh, I've been
Exactly.
yeah.
I can't
Maybe
imagine it's going to jump to the top of your list,
maybe
but
on
it could.
season 84 of our podcast when I finally have time on my hands, like after I
Right.
retire and everything.
Yeah. We're just in a
Um,
home together catching up on TV
oh
shows.
my God. Now I'm really looking forward to that. That would be
I
really fun.
know.
I'm like, give us our
Oh.
sweatshirts, crank the
Mm-hmm.
AC.
Yes.
Um, well, mine, I guess I'll fall into mine because mine is a book character who um is the book was adapted into a movie, and she's the baddest bitch of bad bitches.
Well, we're both saying that now. But yours is the baddest of TV book adaptations.
Um, yeah, well, movie. Amy Dunn.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's what I figured. That's where I thought we
Amy
were headed.
Amy Dunn.
If anyone could be toxic enough to outmaneuver the men of Gilead, it would be her.
Amy Dunn would leave ashes, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
My girl
Yeah.
Amy would just completely crush Gilead.
She really
She'd probably
would.
beat the shit out of June too, because like when June makes those like irrational decisions that were like, well, this is good for the show, but like I don't think that this woman would actually do this. Like she would be like backhanding June. She'd actually
You,
Amy Dunn would beat the shit out of everybody in the show.
I
Let's
was
be
gonna say,
honest.
and you just have a bone to pick with June. You just do.
Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
I want it's you know what it is it's kind of like, you know how you have those friends that always ask you for advice and then you give them the advice and the next day they're like,
Yeah.
so don't get me wrong, sometimes I am that friend.
We all
But
are.
that's June to me. Is
Yeah.
June's that friend that like you're like, like when you're watching a scary movie, like, honey, run to the neighbors. Don't run upstairs. Don't run to your basement to hide. Like run. But
Right.
June would be like, oh, I have this brilliant idea. I'm gonna run up the stairs, but I'm gonna try to climb out my bedroom window and like shimmy down my like rain, whatever. What's that called? I almost called it a
Drain
rain
pipe.
drain.
Drain
Rain
pipe, I
pipe.
think.
I almost called it a rain drain, but that didn't make much sense. But like,
I
yeah,
mean, it
June
would
would
have
be
made
like,
sense.
June's like, I'm not gonna run out the front door. I'm gonna run upstairs, shimmy down that thing, and then like try to like escape somebody. Meanwhile, the killer actually went out the front door and is like standing there waiting for her. Then she has to climb back up.
I
I
feel you. I
want what's
feel you.
best for her, but
I know.
you're yelling at your TV and girl June is not
Yeah.
listening.
No, she's not. She does what she thinks she
Yeah.
should.
Or she acts impulsively based on her anger.
Yep. Well, that would be why I probably don't have a problem with her then.
I guess I also listen, like I would not, I get it. Trust me, like I get it. But
Right.
I'm not a woman. So I'm like, I would not make that decision if I were a woman in that
Right.
position. But I also
Right.
don't know what it would be like to fear being a woman in that position.
Just all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I listen, I root for all women and I root for June, but she just sometimes doesn't make the best decisions.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
But I still love her and I still don't want to see anything bad happen to her.
No, we've got to get Hannah. We've got to. So I've been waiting for it
Right.
from the beginning.
Yep. Cried.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Next
if Amy
season's the
does.
last season.
It is. I'm glad. I do think it's time. I didn't need to be an 8, 9, 10 episode or 10 season show.
Could you imagine? No, I'm not Amy Dunn. I know that that's impossible, but could you imagine if you turn on your TV like a year from now and you're
Mm-hmm.
watching the premiere and like Rosamund Pike pops into fucking Handmaid's
Yes.
Tale? This could be almost be
Yes.
like me being psychic. I don't think she would.
It could be.
I don't know, but
We'll
you
have to
never know.
see. Hopefully someone listens and makes it happen for us. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this episode. If you did, make sure that you come back on Thursday for part 2. And don't forget to stay up to date with everything that we're reading and talking about on our Instagrams at Gare Indeed Reads and at the girl with the book on the couch. Links are also in the show notes, so make sure you follow.